Hello, hello to the students that we have joining us for tonight's session here. Students that are entering in the room, I want to welcome you to the Colorado Virtual College Fair. As people are entering, just a couple of little reminders here before I pass it off to our representatives. Students, if at any point in time you have a question for even just one representative or a question that you'd like answered by many of our representatives in this session, use that Q&A button that's in the center of your screen and someone will type back to you some answers. Your camera and microphone are off, so they won't be able to see or hear you. Students that are joining us, please know that there are more sessions coming up. So always take a look at that website where you registered to see if there are other sessions you're interested in the future. And this recording will be available in just a few days, and it will be on that website where you registered for this event. So without further ado, I am going to pass it off to our representative from Evergreen State College.
All right, thank you very much. So my name is Spencer Gaynor. I am the admissions counselor representing from the Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington. We are located about an hour south of Seattle, Washington, and about an hour and a half from Portland, Oregon. Just a little bit of an overview about Evergreen. We are one of public state institutions in Washington and one of 29 public liberal arts schools in the United States. Our campus is absolutely beautiful. We're on around 1,000 acres of land, with around 800 acres being forest, underdeveloped land. So a lot of hiking trails on campus, and a half of our own private beach property, as well as we offer both baccalaureate and master's programs. I'll talk a little bit about the bachelor's programs we offer, but we also have master's in public administration, master's in environmental studies, and master's in teaching programs as well. And the main kind of theme that I'll be talking about today is what makes Evergreen unique, because that is definitely quite a few things. So the first thing that I'll kind of talk about really quickly is the degree types that we offer at Evergreen. So we offer we offer Bachelor's of Arts and Bachelor's of Science degree. With the Bachelor's of Arts degree, it's just 180 credits, no kind of prerequisite requirements or anything. And the Bachelor's of Science degree is 180 credits with 72 credits in the STEM fields, so science, technology, engineering, and math, and 48 of those 72 credits in upper division level courses, so junior or senior level programs. We also do have a Bachelor's of Arts and Science program, so that's going to be 225 credits with the 72 STEM and 48 upper division courses, so just spending a little bit more time at Evergreen. The first thing that makes Evergreen unique, however, is that we majors at Evergreen. The reason for this is because the average college student changes their major between 3 to 4 times. And when this happens, oftentimes you can lose credits and have to take more courses and pay more money. When this happens, and we don't want that for anyone, we understand that it's hard to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life coming right out of high school in your first couple of years. So what we have in place of a major is something called an area of emphasis. And that is 45 credits in the same field of study, but you declare it at the end of your time in school rather than at the beginning. So that is kind of the first thing that makes Evergreen really unique. The next thing I'll talk about is the way that our courses are set up, because that is another thing that as a former graduate myself, I really appreciated. So at a conventional college, a student might take, 4 different courses, and some of these might be prerequisites, and some of them might be towards the degree a student is trying to earn. What we do at Evergreen is a little bit different. We incorporate multiple different fields of study into one 16-credit program that encompasses multiple fields of study and kind of looking at these different areas of study through similar lenses. The benefit of this is that you're diving into exactly what it is that you want to learn about, as well as, making the connections between the different interests that you have. Because when you go out into the real world, that's the way the real world is kind of actively making those connections and learning the similarities between things like native history and geology and the way those connect. So that's kind of the benefit of the course structure that we offer at Evergreen. The next thing I will talk about, this is just kind of an example of how students tend to spend their time at Evergreen. We really support students in trying new things, right? So taking your first couple of years to really explore your interests, see if there's something out there that you might find interesting but have never really thought about seriously as a career. Because you never know, you could find that you're really passionate about something like, marine biology or animation, something that, you didn't think you might want to make a career in, and then taking your junior and senior year to really focus and do that hands-on work in the community that, helps you be successful for life after you've graduated. The next thing I will talk about that makes Evergreen really unique is the fact that we do not have letter grades. And the reason for this is because we understand that letter grades and test scores don't tell the full story about what a student did in college. So what we have in place of letter grades is something called narrative evaluations. And that is where a faculty essentially pay attention to your progress throughout the 10-week quarter and write a 1-page to 2-page report on your performance in the class and reward you credit based on that. So what I always like to tell folks is you really get from Evergreen what you put into it. Because at the end, instead of having a transcript that is made up of just grades and a grade point average, your transcript is essentially all of your faculty evaluations. So potential grad schools and potential employers get a really good idea of what kind of worker you are. Things like, is this person good at working in groups? Can this person meet deadlines? Is this person showing up to class every day? The things that, employers and grad schools really want to know about you. So that's kind of the benefit of the narrative evaluation system. And you also get the opportunity to self-reflect and evaluate your own performance and make a case on your performance and evaluate your faculty members. It does look like I am almost out of time, so I'm going to skip ahead and just mention a few more quick things. We are a member of the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program, so if you maintain a 3.5 grade point average after you graduate, you do qualify for in-state tuition at Evergreen. And if you have any questions about the really unique academics, because I know I didn't have a lot of time to share, please, please, please feel free to reach out, because you can study almost anything at Evergreen, and I love sharing about it. So thank you for taking time to listen.
Thank you so much. And I will pass it off to our representative from the University of Puget Sound.
Hey everyone, my name is Jasmine, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm your admission counselor. Thanks so much for joining. Remember to use that chat function and ask questions. So let's talk about University of Puget Sound. We are located roughly 30 miles south of Seattle. We are the 3rd largest city in Washington. And as you can see on this map, we are right along the Puget Sound body of water, which is actually where we get our name from. We have access to a ton around us, including a short trip up to Canada and trains and ferries that can take you kind of all over the place, which is really exciting. This is a snapshot of campus right here. And so what I want to talk about is what surrounds campus. When you walk off campus, where can you go? What can you do? So we are surrounded by a lot of residential neighborhoods, but we are super close to shopping districts, grocery stores, movie theaters, bowling alleys, thrift stores, coffee shops, all of that good stuff. And so you can absolutely bring a car your first year, but to get around Tacoma, you don't technically need one, which is really nice. We're about 10-minute drive from downtown Tacoma. And so moving on, that was just a little bit about location. Let's talk a little bit more about the fast facts of Puget Sound. And so we are a national liberal arts institution. And so many of our students, the majority, come from outside the state of Washington, as well as independent. And so we don't have a religious affiliation, and we are highly residential, which I'm going to talk about in a few slides. And so that's just a little bit about us. We are right around 2,200 undergraduate students with a couple of graduate programs to offer as well. There are lots of areas of study at University of Puget Sound. Some of the more popular majors do tend to be psychology, biology, and business. And so within our School of Business, we also have a fantastic business leadership program. If you are at all interested in studying business, we can absolutely give you more information. We offer a 4-year cohort program that gives tons of hands-on experience with business leaders in the local community and internships. We also have a School of Music. If you are a musician or plan to pursue that in college, we offer majors, minors, classes. You can audition for ensembles. You can interact with the School of Music in any way that you would like, which is really great. And then we are predominantly undergraduate, but we do have a few graduate programs in physical therapy, occupational therapy, teaching, counseling, and soon public health. I mentioned earlier that we were residential, and so we do ask you to live on campus your first 2 years, and that's because the community and the action is happening on campus. And so after that, the majority of our students remain on campus up till their junior year, and we can house you all 4 years if you would like. We are Division III in athletics and are competitive in that, and we also offer over 100 clubs, rec teams. We have a very active outdoor campus environment vibe going on. And our campus is very lively. So there's no roads that go through campus. Everybody's always out and about, regardless if it's raining or not. And as you can see in this photo, the mountain is out, is what we like to say in Tacoma. That's Mount Rainier, and you can see her from campus, which is really cool. And so transitioning a little outside of opportunities that can help complement your education at Puget Sound. These are a few of our offerings that I do want to highlight really quick because we're talking very quick tonight. But we do, of course, have study abroad programs. I want to talk for a second about an internship class that is available to you in your sophomore year called the Reflective Immersive Sophomore Experience. In that class, you are able to learn how to obtain an internship, live on campus, do your internship, and reflect with your professor about your career aspirations, your goals, how it's going. And it really does set you up nicely for your years after that, as well as that job market after graduation. Puget Sound students are all assigned an academic peer advisor, which is an upperclassman who will check in on you to see how classes are going, how is college life going, and they do that because they really value the Puget Sound education and want to interact with the incoming class. So logistically, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. These are our application requirements, and so we are on the Common App, and we are both, we are happy to accept test scores, and we are also test optional. And so just so we're on the same page there, we do have a deadline coming up a month from tomorrow in terms of our applications. If you apply by November 1st, there is no application fee. And that way you hear back from us earlier and you still have the same amount of time to let us know what your plans are. Our other deadline is January 15th. If you can't get your application in by November 1st, not a problem at all. There will be an application fee associated after November 1st, but we do have waivers available, and so there should be no barrier in you applying. University of Puget Sound is happy to also offer all admitted students merit scholarships, and you can receive a merit scholarship up to $30,000 depending on the strength of your application, and so that is a range. And that is stackable. So whatever aid you may get from the government or outside scholarships or grants is stackable. And then to leave you all on this wonderful night, we are also offering a visit scholarship. Step one in receiving that would be to attend one of our events coming up called Discover Puget Sound. If you do that, apply by November 1st and have an interview with us, you would earn a visit scholarship of $1,000 per year. And I am out of time, so I am going to pass it on over, and thanks so much. We'll be in the chat. Take care.
Thank you so much. I will pass it off now to the University of Washington.
Video on. Hey there, everyone. My name is Ben Siegel, and I'm our admissions counselor here at the University of Washington, Seattle campus. I'm a UW alum myself, so excited to be here with you all today, sharing a little bit more information about Seattle, UW, and our admissions process. The first thing I want to start out with is where we're located. UW is located in Seattle, Washington, just about a few miles north of downtown Seattle. So we get to go to college in a big city environment. You want to watch pro sports, go to a concert, check out the thriving food scene here in Seattle. Those are all about 10, 15 minutes away to like downtown, taking our light rail or bus in Seattle. Really well connected by public transportation to check out different neighborhoods in the greater Seattle area. So big city environment, but also Seattle has a lot of natural beauty. So you can see from this picture here, the UW campus is located right on the shores of Lake Washington. So go canoeing out there, go for a bike ride or a run on the Berkman Trail or in some of our many parks in the city. Out in the distance there, you can see the foothills of the Cascade Mountains. So while it's hard to compete with the Rockies, if you enjoy hiking, skiing, and snowboarding, lots of opportunities just about an hour, hour and a half away out there in the mountains. As it relates to academics, UW has 180 different majors, so incredible wide variety of different programs of study here at the UW, ranging anywhere from psychology to geography to computer science, history, environmental studies, a little bit of everything offered here at the UW. In-classroom education is one part of the experience, obviously, but lots of students will take advantage of research, internships, and other kind of community-based learning opportunities as well. So UW receives more federal funding for research than any other public institution in the US. So lots of opportunities to do research with faculty on campus, as well. You could even do research off campus. So UW has something called the Friday Harbor Labs up in the San Juan Islands. So that's a ferry ride away from the mainland of Seattle here. And you can do research out there in the field of, say, marine biology and oceanography. So about 9,000 students in a given year will participate in undergrad research. A few aspects of student life on campus here, nearly 1,000 different student clubs. So, if you want to participate in club sports, for example, club soccer, ultimate frisbee, Husky running club, more professional related clubs such as undergraduate women in business, to more fun clubs such as, bagel club, just to name one there. Lots of ways to kind of build those smaller communities on campus. Additionally, a lot of students will find community through their living situations. So about 70% of our freshmen will choose to live on campus at the UW. Not required to live on campus, so students could live in the surrounding neighborhoods with friends or family. Additionally, we have a Greek system at UW, so if you're interested in exploring Greek life, definitely an option here. Last two statistics down here regarding our retention rate of 94%, just indicative, I think, of the academic support here at UW, as well as the engagement that students have in their education. Meeting with advisors, going to professors' office hours, connecting with other students on campus. Our students really enjoy their education here at the UW and are able to engage with that education inside the classroom and outside the classroom. So lots to do in your 4 years on campus, but 4 years is our average time to graduation. These are just a few employers that call the Seattle area home. Obviously, lots of big Fortune 500 companies, startups, nonprofits. These folks will come out to campus to connect with our students at different career and internship fairs. Our Career Center on campus as well, here to support students in seeking out internships while they're undergrads, as well as jobs post-graduation. So about 58% of our students participate in internships before graduating. Want to dig into our application process a little bit. UW is on the Coalition application. This is a shared application platform with about 150 different colleges and universities across the country. To apply to UW, you apply through the Coalition application. There's the profile, and that's more general information about yourself. That's open to students to start at any time throughout high school. On September 1st, your senior year, within the Coalition, the UW question section will open. That's going to be more specific information related to UW. So that's where you put your personal statement, short response essay, your first and second choice major, which can be taken in consideration as part of our holistic review process. Additionally, if you want to apply to the honors program, that's going to be in the UW question section. Application fee is $80, but if you qualify for a fee waiver, say through an ACT fee waiver or free reduced lunch, you can just check a box on our application and you'll get that application fee waived. A couple things that we do not ask for or look at as part of our application process. We don't ask for transcripts. You're going to be self-reporting your coursework. Don't ask for letters of recommendation. And last but not least, this is new this year, we are no longer requiring SAT or ACT scores. So lots more information about that SAT, ACT change and policy on our website. Holistic review process, we're going to focus on academic preparation performance as the leading pillar of our holistic review process. Unpacking that, we're going to look well beyond just your cumulative GPA throughout high school. We're going to be looking at your coursework, how much you're challenging yourself throughout high school, as well as your grade trend. So really unpacking that GPA and seeing what it represents. As it relates to the personal achievements and characteristics, that's information we're going to gather from the personal statement, short response essay, activity log, and any additional information you choose to include in, say, the additional information section. So holistic review process, you're a lot more than just a number when we're reviewing your application. Here's our mid 50 percentiles for admitted students. So hopefully this provides a little bit of insight and guidance as it relates to our application process. You can see the GPA and test scores there listed for non-resident students on the right. That's non-residents of Washington. And again, we don't require SAT or ACT scores at the UW for admission. If there's any one big takeaway here, our one and only application deadline is November 15th. So no early action, no early decision. November 15th is that one and only deadline. Last thing I'll say here, Purple and Gold Scholarship, all U.S. non-resident students are automatically considered for this scholarship by submitting their application to UW, and the scholarship amounts range anywhere from about $3,000 to a little over $8,000. So that's all I have today. You have my contact information here, and myself and my colleague Aubrey Weaver will be in the chat to help answer any questions. But thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. We will go ahead and turn it over now to Washington State University.
All right. Hi, everybody. I will get presented for you all. My name is Micah DeMarco, and I'm one of the admissions counselors for WSU. You all are halfway through this presentation, so thank you for making it this long. This is good. And thank you for coming during the NBA Finals, because I know some of you have that on in the background. I'm a third generation Coug. I live in Pullman and I love talking about it, so we'll kind of jump right in. We're in Eastern Washington, right on the border of Idaho. So we're just a couple of minutes from the state of Idaho as well as the University of Idaho. The city of Pullman is 2/3 college students, which means it is a really fun place to be. It's also a really young place to be. The average age in Pullman is 22.1 years old when school is in session. Because we're primarily a college town, we are also incredibly safe. So along with having really affordable options for food and living and lots of hotels for parents to come and visit, we're really safe. We're one of the safest schools in the country and something we're pretty proud of. We'll talk a little bit about student involvement. I will say, I'm not going to go super in depth into this. We're a big school. We have a lot of the big things to do that many other schools our size have. One of the biggest things that differentiates us, though, is that we are that college town. Because of that, it means that we place a really big emphasis on students getting involved right away. And that is partially because we need students to be involved in order to be successful at WSU. So we'll place a big emphasis on getting students involved right away. Some of our largest will, of course, be that we're a Pac-12 D1 school for sports, lots of clubs, and then Greek life is large. So about 25 to 30% of our students will be in a fraternity or a sorority. As far as academics, again, we're a big school. We've got a lot of the majors that you're expecting. Some of our largest will be business, communication, engineering, and then anything that's pre-professional. We have our own med school, vet school, nursing school, pharmacy school. So a lot of our students will come to us for that in particular. Just like I believe it was the Evergreen State College mentioned, we're admitting into WSU and not into a major. So not knowing what you want to study for or be involved in for the rest of your life is okay. We know that 2/3 of our students will switch their major at least once. So you can move around as much as you need or want to at WSU without penalty. All of our students can be involved in undergraduate research, study abroad programs, etc. Because we are such an undergraduate heavy campus, as well as being a tier 1 school for research, we really are able to get our undergraduate students involved in research opportunities right away. While I'm talking, I totally forgot to mention, but I have a colleague on board with me today. So if you guys do have questions, she can answer those live for you in the chat Q&A right now. We'll talk super brief about our admissions process. It's pretty simple. For you seniors, the application is open now. For you juniors, it'll be open in a year from now. The application is essentially a fill in the blank with stuff I think you already know about yourself, like your name, year in school, date of birth, things like that. You can upload your transcripts directly into the application. and that is it. We are test blind this year, and that's for this year's incoming, current seniors, incoming freshmen. You do not need to submit test scores. They're not considered this year. Not sure what'll happen in the future with that, but for seniors right now, no test scores. And then our students, that's it. That's all we're looking at. We're basing our admissions simply off of those transcripts. There are no letters of recommendation, essays, anything like that. We'll talk about dates and deadlines in a minute, but we also have an optional scholarship application that we recommend students fill out to enter themselves for more money. But because you guys are primarily from Colorado, we'll talk about the WUI. We are a WUI school. Our WUI is given automatically to qualified students. How do you qualify? You need to have a 3.6 or above unweighted GPA. If you have that, it is an automatic $11,000 per year off of your tuition. If you don't have a 3.6, but you're at a 3.2 to a 3.59, it's an automatic $7,000. There are no special majors or minors that don't receive those scholarships. They're just given automatically to you if you qualify. The biggest thing, oh, and excuse me, we'll talk about the cost of attendance. I know this is a lot of numbers on the screen all at once, but feel free to take a picture, moms and dads in particular. You guys can see that with the WUI scholarship, it does bring that cost of attendance down to almost what an in-state student would be paying. I like to point out too that here, housing and dining aren't exact numbers. We do require our students to live on campus their freshman year, but how much they pay will really be dictated by how they live. And after freshman year, it gets pretty cheap to live in Eastern Washington. Biggest dates and deadlines for you all to remember for us is January 31. If you all like free money or your parents would like for you to get free money, that is when you will want to apply by. That is when you'll be needing to apply in order to receive WUI consideration. That's when the FAFSA is due, the scholarship application, etc. We're on a rolling admissions cycle, meaning we are sending out our admissions decisions monthly. None of our decisions are binding. Students have until May 1 to tell us yes or no. And here's all my contact information. I'm sad I'm not in Colorado like we normally are, but I'm your admissions counselor. So if you all need anything, that's all my contact info. I'll stick around in the Q&A as well, but thank you all for coming. Go Cougs.
All right, thank you to Washington State University. I will now pass it over to Western Washington University.
Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and jump in here. So my name is Tina Castillo. I'm an admissions counselor at Western Washington University. I'm also sad I won't be, that I'm not in Colorado. It would be my 4th year in Colorado this year for Western, but I'm really excited to see you all virtually here. So I'm gonna dive right in and talk about Western. First and foremost, this is a beautiful photo of campus looking east off of Bellingham Bay. That's part of the Salish Sea and Puget Sound. So you can see that we are located right on the coast of the state of Washington. In the background there is, of course, a beautiful Mount Baker and the North Cascades. So we pretty much have the outdoors covered from the water to snow sports, and we'll talk about that some more in a second here. A quick overview, we are a public institution within the state of Washington. We're considered a medium-sized school with just over 16,000 total students. We are an undergraduate-focused university. We're grounded in the liberal arts curriculum, so I'll talk about what academic majors we have available. But no matter your major, you're going to get a strong foundation and education in the liberal arts, so communication, critical thinking, etc. We really focus on providing the best academic experience to our students on our campus, so you'll see that reflected in our average class size, majority of classes having fewer than 30 students, that 18:1 student to faculty ratio, and the majority of classes taught by faculty, not graduate assistants. So we really put your education first as an undergraduate teaching first institution. I love talking about Bellingham. I live downtown in Bellingham. My campus is actually just right behind me up the hill. So to get to campus to downtown, it's just a 15-minute walk. So I really enjoy the sustainability about the city of Bellingham. I walk to work back before COVID, and I also really enjoy biking around. So Bellingham's really big on being green and really into environmental sustainability. In fact, our campus too has been nationally recognized for being a green campus. So Bellingham, some people call it a college town, but it definitely is a pretty good sized city of 90,000 people. That's without any Western students. So it has all your amenities as far as businesses, healthcare, and lots of ways to be entertained. Our location is really unique too. We're right in between two major international cities. We are an hour and a half north of Seattle and just under an hour south of Vancouver, Canada. So yes, we are very close to the Canadian border, about 10, 15 minutes from the Canadian border. But that doesn't mean you're trying to get out of Bellingham. There's lots of fun stuff to do there too. What I really love is that we are nationally recognized as local leaders in supporting independent businesses, especially in this difficult time with COVID. The community has really come together to support local businesses and make sure that they continue to be open and operating, because we love going to the cafe. We love going to all the great local coffee shops and bookshops. So this is a picture of the farmers market that's been nationally recognized too, that I absolutely love on Saturdays. We've been nationally recognized as having some of the cleanest air in the country and being one of the safest cities to live in too. So it's great to make your life in Bellingham. As I mentioned earlier, I'm really into the outdoors, and so we have that pretty much covered. Western has the outdoor recreation center that is staffed by student employees. So if you, coming from a landlocked state, want to learn how to go kayaking or sailing, you can learn that through the outdoor center and rent gear. Or if you're an avid skier or snowboarder, we're just an hour from Mount Baker ski area. It has some of the best skiing and snowboarding around. And we have our ski shuttle that does take you up to Baker during ski season. So that's really exciting too. As I mentioned earlier, we're a liberal arts institution. What's really neat with Western is we provide the benefits of a small liberal arts college, but also the perks of a larger public institution. So that's reflected in the number of majors that we offer to students. Over 175 majors organized across 7 colleges. They're listed in order of how large they are, the number of students enrolled. We started as a teaching institution, so education is very strong at Western. We also have one of the oldest environmental colleges in the country, our Huxley College of the Environment, so that is strong. We get a lot of students who are interested in marine biology. We do have an off-campus research facility for marine biology called the Shannon Point Marine Center, and that's located in beautiful Anacortes, Washington, which is, you take the ferry to go up to the San Juans. So that's your classroom if you're a marine biology student, which is pretty cool. Quick shout out to our honors program. That's a separate application. Honors allows you to take your general studies courses within the honors curriculum, which is more interactive and seminar based. They require a separate application. They're really receptive to any questions you might have. So be sure to reach out to them and ask them any questions. There's no additional costs. It is competitive, but they're always looking for people with different diverse backgrounds to bring to the honors program. And this is a picture of honors, the residence hall that you have the option of living in as well. About 30 more seconds here. Student and community life. So we don't have a Greek system. We don't have a football team either. We are Division II varsity school, but you will find over 250 student clubs, pretty much a club for any sort of identity or activity that you're into, whether it's sports or a faith-based identity or a social issue you're really passionate about. You'll find your community through the student clubs. Study abroad is also really popular at Western. We send hundreds of students abroad every year. That's challenging right now during COVID, but something hopefully that will be available to you in the future. We have our own separate application you can fill out on our website. We'll ask for your transcript and your personal statement, essay, and activities list. Test scores are optional for 2021. So feel free to submit those if you have them, but they're not required. Letters of recommendation are also optional too. November 1 is our early action deadline. Regular decision is January 31st. We are a WUI school. You'll automatically be reviewed for WUI when you apply. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm so excited and looking forward to connecting with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And then on to our final school this evening, Whitman College.
Perfect. Am I unmuted? Sorry, one second. Okay, perfect. I am totally messing up this right now, but hi everyone. As I'm trying to figure this out, I am Madison Hollenbeck. I'm an Associate Director of Admission at Whitman College, and I'm really appreciative of you all being here today and sticking around until the end. To kind of get started, Whitman College is a small private liberal arts school. We're located in Walla Walla, Washington, which is down in the southeastern corner of Washington State. I like to joke that it's the only town so nice that they named it twice. But in kind of thinking about how I wanted to approach this presentation, I decided I really wanted to focus on 3 distinctive programs that I think really encompass what the Whitman academic experience is like. And so one of my favorite parts about Whitman College is the way that students show up for one another and work to really create a collaborative culture of learning and find ways to be socially justice-minded and engage in student-led activism. And so a really great example of this is through our student engagement, or is through our Power and Privilege Symposium on campus. Every year in the spring, we host a conference that is completely student-led. It's a day full of workshops and panels, presentations, and it's really geared to educating each other on power structures that are prevailing around the world. It's to challenge the assumptions and our community's understanding of our place in the world and kind of the power dynamics associated with them. And so it's really incredible to see students kind of take on topics like these, some of the more challenging conversations, and really also initiate it. We have conversations surrounding environmental racism to anti-queer language on college campuses, body liberation and social justice, first-generation college experiences. We're even able to bring really phenomenal speakers like Angela Davis to campus, which you can see in the picture right here. She presented this past spring before the campus kind of shut down with COVID. And I really wanted to highlight this program specifically because, one, I think it really does show how we approach learning on campus, collaborative and discussion-based. You'll find students taking these conversations outside of just this program into the dining hall, into the residence hall, into walking across campus. And 2, I think it shows how socially justice-minded our students are, and by cultivating and leading sometimes these more difficult conversations by their own initiation. The second program I really wanted to highlight was the Whitman Fellowship Program. I always talk to my students that at Whitman College, you're not only just a student at Whitman, you're also a citizen of Walla Walla. And I do think that's distinctive to going to school in a more rural location. And in a town of 32,000, our students are really able to go into our community and make active, tangible differences that are lasting. Our community fellows actually spend an entire year working with prominent local organizations to address some areas of social, racial, cultural challenges, and fellows are able to work with high-level leaders in our Walla Walla Valley to receive mentoring, career guidance, and are really able to make a positive change while working in this fellowship and also being a student on campus. In just the last year, you can see here in this picture here, one of our students, Jessica, was able to go into the community and actually teach students in the rural areas around the Walla Walla Valley about healthy eating habits and healthy food. And then we had another student, you can see here, Cameron Connor on the top of the page. He actually worked in collaboration with the mayor of Walla Walla to create a community neighborhood engagement project where basically they decided they wanted to put power and funding back into the community's hands to identify and decide what changes are going to be made in their neighborhoods. And this is while both Jessica and Cameron graduated this past year, these programs are still in existence right now. So even as they move on into the next step of their life, the differences and the changes that they made within Walla Walla while they were a student at Whitman are still present and still very prevalent. And I think that really shows our students being able to make lasting positive impacts on the town that surrounds them. The last thing, I'd be remiss not to talk about the outdoors when talking about Whitman and being in Washington State. We really want to celebrate our sense of place. We think where we're located in Washington State, within the Pacific Northwest, and within the country is really unique to Whitman. And we see over 260 days of sunshine a year, which is a little bit different when you think about Washington State and the Pacific Northwest. And so our students are able to be outside, they're able to explore, and our outdoor program is renowned for that. We actually offer over 65 trips a school year between backpacking, river rafting, kayaking. In the winter, if you want to do some skiing and snowboarding, our local ski hill is 45 minutes away. And so we send out a trip bus every single Friday for students to take advantage of. And what's actually great about our outdoor program is we actually give students $150 to put towards these trips. I like to joke that basically we are paying you to get outside and enjoy the beautiful Pacific Northwest, which I don't know how you can say no to, but I will also recognize that I'm very biased and love this area. And so with the outdoor program, I think it really speaks to the sense of adventure our students have and this really big passion for kind of exploration and making sure that they have that work-life balance. Academics are definitely taken very seriously on campus, but it's also so much more than just, you know, staying in the classroom. Our president always talks to the fact that our job as an institution isn't just to teach the student, it's to teach the whole person. And so by highlighting, I think, the outdoor program that we have, I think that really encompasses the idea of students really getting involved outside of just the classroom setting. And so as we're kind of getting to the end of my time and talking, you know, this was just 3 programs that I think really highlight the Whitman experience. I think it shows the collaboration and the collaborative nature of our academics in our community. It shows that we are a very engaged community that is active on campus and off of campus, and that we are about exploration and exploring and taking adventure. I didn't include anything about kind of admission and financial aid. I'd love to get connected with each of you individually. If there's questions and Whitman kind of is on your list, please feel free to reach out at any point and I'd be happy to chat with you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, everyone. Students, I don't see any more questions in the chat at this very moment. So I am actually, with the couple of minutes that we have remaining here in our session, I'm going to ask each representative maybe 30 seconds or less if there's anything really special to share, or maybe a tradition that you didn't get to share in that presentation. 30 seconds, kind of recap and finish closing thoughts. We'll start in that order. So Evergreen State.
So I would say one thing that I didn't really highlight during my presentation earlier that I really would like to highlight is just hands-on work that our students do. We're really big in the environmental studies, any kind of field work, actually going out into the community and practicing those skills that you learn in the classroom out in the real world. We have a 5-acre organic farm right on our campus, and our mascot is the gooey duck. So research it, it's really cool, can't get enough of it. Thank you for having me.
And Puget Sound.
Everyone. I think more so I'd like to highlight that, and thank you to my colleagues for reminding me, going to school in the Pacific Northwest really does mean your classrooms become what's around you. We've had students conduct research in the rainforest nearby, in the Puget Sound nearby, in the mountains, and I think our location is just so unique in the sense of that. The outdoors really does become your classroom if you want it to. And that's truly something special and beautiful. And again, thank you all so much for coming, and look forward to working with some of you later on.
Excellent. University of Washington.
Yeah, I highlight one of my favorite experiences as a student at UW, but we're a Division I school for athletics. And so on Husky game day, you know, hundreds of thousands of fans will kind of crowd the area. Feels like the city itself kind of turns purple. And the night before, the marching band goes around campus and plays music. So great way to kind of engage with the UW community. And again, like the whole city of Seattle just feels like everyone's walking around wearing purple those days. So kind of indicative of the university's relationship with the city as a whole, I'd say.
And Washington State.
Oh, to piggyback off of that, we're another big sports institution. We've got one of the most recognizable logos in the country, which is fun. And I have yet to be in, knock on wood, at an airport wearing Coug gear and not gotten to go Cougs. And I travel a lot, so that's been one of my favorite personal experiences as an alum.
And Western Washington.
I really like to highlight our students. We attract some of the most passionate, really involved students. Students who are either advocating for change in their schools, for the climate, for social justice issues. Our students were at the forefront of creating our new multicultural center on our campus, which is home to our Queer Resource Center, our Ethnic Student Center, our Women's Identity Resource Center. We're one of the top schools where our graduates go and join the Peace Corps. We've been nationally ranked for students who go on to earn their doctorate degree. So we have some really passionate, very intelligent students. And I just love that about Western. It makes it a great place to attend, and it makes faculty want to come and teach here and work with these students. So they're really great.
Excellent. And Whitman.
Yeah, I think one thing I'd really like to note is one of my favorite statistics, and I think really speaks to Whitman, is 95% of our students come from more than 200 miles away. And so what that means is we're a really residential college that's really focused on community. I like to joke that you can't really commute in and out of Walla Walla, though Walla Walla has everything that you need. But what that means is your professors live here, the staff live here, the students are living here. And so those relationships happen, I think, a lot quicker than you might find at other schools, because you're going to see your professor out walking their dog, or you're going to see them in a coffee shop. And so it starts humanizing them a little bit quicker. But the same thing with students, there's always, I like to say, you unintentionally run into your best friend all the time. And I think as you're kind of moving away, especially away from Colorado, and maybe going to a new place, I think that kind of feeling of home following you around is a really nice thing, and really can help with that change that you're going to experience as you go into college, no matter where you go.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much to our representatives for joining us this evening, and to all of our students who joined us for this session. Just a couple things, students. When you close out of the meeting, there will be a quick 4-question survey. Please fill that out for us. It's only 4 questions, and it does help us with future programming, considering that, you know, visits are quite more virtual these days. Also, go ahead and make sure if there's any other future sessions to sign up for those in advance. And this recording will be available on that website where you signed up for these virtual sessions earlier on, and it'll be available in a couple of days. So thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and have a good night. Thanks so much.